sisters, welcome to the very first video of my new channel. I am Anaiya Stanley. If you're new here or if this is your first time watching this video, thank you so much for being here. If you recognize me, you probably recognize me from my old channel, Naturally Anaiya, where I was doing a bunch of natural hair content, beauty care, things like that. But things have changed and I am married now. I have graduated college. When I was doing those videos, I was in high school. I was navigating that teenage part of my life, but now I've grown. I'm 25. A lot of things have changed. And so I really just want to talk about that and invite you guys to this new chapter of my life. So in college, I had just gotten engaged right after I graduated, and my husband and I have been living together, and I've been navigating being a wife, being a recent college grad, and what it means to be successful in this age. You know, there's a lot of expectations for women to, or just in general, for when you graduate, to have things lined up, ready to go, have your career, have your job, have everything set. And that's just not kind of how things turned out for me. I really wanted to get into politics. I graduated with my degree in law and American civilization. Like, I'm super into people, policy, and I thought that I would be going into a career that was based around that. I was doing community service for a while. I was doing work in Baltimore. That's where I'm from. That's where I live currently. Doing a lot of work in the community, grassroots organizing, and I thought that I would end up being like a politician, and who knows, God's will, I might still be. But I really was pressing like that issue. I was really going for those types of jobs, and nothing opened up for me. I was doing different internships and working with different people, and after a while, like, it kind of just was like, well, nothing's really happening. And so I ended up I got a job at Trader Joe's. I was working there for a few years, even before I actually graduated, but I kept that job after I graduated. And so I was working there, and because no other political jobs opened up, I decided that I was going to do a lot of like other gig work, and I was working as an assistant at a hair salon. I was doing babysitting. I was babysitting 2 families at the same time, and mind you, I wasn't like ever leaving anything. I was doing these jobs, and I'm not the type of person who likes to quit and say goodbye. I pile things on. And so I was working at the hair salon. I was working at Trader Joe's. I was babysitting for 2 families. I had my own beauty supply store. It was called Curl X Trend. I recently dissolved that. But I held on to all those things, and I had so many jobs. I didn't know I had poor boundaries. And so I spent so much time working, and as somebody who was newly married, I think we just hit 2 years in our marriage, and so just still everything's just been so fresh. And so trying to navigate past life with new life, and when you get married, you are one. You are a union. Everything is not just about you and your job and your dreams. I mean, granted, I'm still allowed to have my own dreams and passions and follow them, but I shouldn't do them separate from my husband. We should be growing together. And so I found myself like constantly burning out. I would come home after long days. I'm talking about like I'm working at Trader Joe's, but you would think I'm working at some Amazon warehouse job where because I had to be there 5 a.m. Sometimes I would work 5 a.m. and get off at 3 o'clock and then go run to the hair salon and be there until 10 o'clock at night. And I'm coming home and I don't have anything to give to anyone. And so laundry is piling up. There's dishes everywhere. My husband's like, what are you going to feed me? Like, what are you going to eat? Because he's working all day. And so it was constantly like a rat race, like running and doing the same things. Like the cycle was perpetuating itself of just burning out. And I was just trying to be something. I was trying to earn money. I didn't want to be without. I was so worried about not having enough. I was worried about what people would think if I didn't have a job, and I had a lot of different things that I was navigating. I think that's why it was so hard for me to put it to the side. And so there was a time when I met someone who I was actually babysitting for, and she said, hey, you're really, really good with kids. I know someone that needs childcare. Would you be open to helping? And I took her, offer as, well, this is like the first time I had boundaries. I was like, well, I have too many jobs already. I can't possibly take on another family. But what ended up happening was she was like, well, I think it's actually more than just a job where you're just doing childcare or babysitting. You're going to actually do a full-time role and be kind of like a family manager. And so you're going to go into this family's home, and you're going to help them with their childcare, maybe some office stuff. And they also have a political side too. And this is something that maybe you can use to get your foot in the door or whatever. And so I really got excited about the opportunity to do things that I'm really, really good at, that I love to do. But then also there is an opportunity that I could potentially get into the field that I had been desiring since I graduated college. And so it was like, to me, the perfect segue to go ahead and do exactly what I had been thinking that it was supposed to be my thing. And so I ended up, pursuing the opportunity, and I got the job. Red flag, you should always pray before you take any opportunity, because I definitely didn't pray about that. I took the opportunity, and it was also driven by, again, wanting to get to what I wanted, and not necessarily asking God, what did he want from me? And so I pursued that. Again, having to say goodbye to the other jobs was very, very hard. And I was like, yeah, I got this other thing I'm going. But in hindsight, I think that's what God wanted for me anyway, to be able to say goodbye to those things so that he can get me where he has me now. So I took that opportunity and I said, okay, Lord, I'll talk to you about it when I get there, that type of thing. How am I gonna negotiate with God?
Are you a wife, a mom, and or businesswoman? I wanted to let you know that I'm actually the owner of Become 31, who's serving women just like you who need practical day-to-day care to help you steward the things that God has given you. I offer babysitting services, cleaning services, meal prep services, and so much more. If you are in the DMV and this sounds like something you need, please go to the description box to find the link that will take you to my website, www.become31.com. I'm offering Christian-based care rooted in God's love. I can't wait to serve you. Now back to the video.
So I took the job, and I was doing the childcare. I was doing the family management. I was an executive assistant, but it was very close-knit with the family. So when I was doing all of that, then there was this aspect of, okay, the political side, but I didn't really have time to do the political side of things. And so it was kind of like this, well, you can when you have time, but I never actually had time. And then I was going through a lot of things, just experiencing a lot of mismanagement of time when I was at that job. Not so much as it was just, there was a lot that was being required of me that I wasn't able to offer because I was learning about boundaries. And so the Lord really had me in this place where I'm finally seeking him because I'm tired. I feel a bit crazy. I feel like things aren't really planning or playing out how I had intended for them, or how at least I had imagined this to be something that could work for me long term. And so I decided, well, what do you do when you're in warfare? You pray. So I'm praying. I'm seeking God about what is it that he wants me to do. And eventually he confirmed for me in many different ways that he wanted me to quit this job. Now, this was my only job at this point. I had 5 before. And so now I have 1. And I'm like, okay, Lord, you want me to leave? But I have nothing lined up. And so I start trying to apply to other jobs. I even had an interview for another job. And in the middle of the interview, the screen blacked out. Just done. And I'm like, wait a minute, Lord, I'm supposed to be, you told me to leave. Don't you want me to? He said, I need you to sit down, leave that job and wait for my instructions. So I left the job. Hardest time of my life. Going from having so much to then one job and I'm talking like, this wasn't like this is the most money I had ever made, like with all those jobs combined. It was the most money I had ever made. And sometimes I know that even with that job, I was worth far more, but I settled and I was like, like this is good. Like, and then I have the opportunity to get into something that I've really been wanting or whatever. So all of these things I convinced myself. But once I had nothing, and I still had a home, I still had my husband, but to me, that was everything to me. Like my job, what I do with my time, like that was everything. And how I make money, like I didn't invite God into those areas of my life. I wanted to be the one in control. And I said, no, like I got this. I'm the one down here working. Why I gotta talk to God? He ain't got nothing to do with it. So I was like, don't follow that example. I really wish that I had sought him before I made any decisions about long-term career. And so when I was home, I had a very hard time. I was out of work for several months. There was no income. My husband was the only one working, and we relied also on like my supplemental income, so it was like a huge shift in our relationship and our finances. And so I had to figure out what to do. And again, you pray. So I was like, okay, I need to get that's something that I'm missing. So I sat with the Lord and I just poured out. I cried. I went to church. I told myself, I had so many parameters and walls built up that I didn't even know that I had up. Because before I lost my job, I had a really big issue with like tithing and things like that. And I was like, God, when I get my job, I'm gonna start tithing. When I get that job that brings in the money, I'm gonna tithe. I'm gonna give to you. I'm gonna give to your house. I'm gonna give to you. Now, I would give. I'm not someone that's selfish, but I definitely had a hoarding issue. And I was like, I'm gonna pile up. It just sounded like everybody in the Bible. That's, again, don't follow. So I was hoarding money. And I was like, God, I'm going to give to you when I have it. And so when I got my new job, the one job, it still was an issue. It still was an issue when I had more than enough. I didn't have no time. Well, I also didn't have no time. I didn't have no time to really like go and give, and I wasn't really in church, and we didn't even have a home church yet. Like, we're just still figuring things out. But I still didn't make that effort. And it was still an issue for me to give and to let go of money and to stop hoarding and all these things. And so when I was out of work and I was praying and I was seeking God about like, where do you want me to be? I don't want anything that you don't want. He showed me the contents of my heart, and that I was idolizing money, and that I was idolizing work and productivity and doing everything for everyone and not having boundaries. And in order for me to get to where he wants me to be, I have to sacrifice that back to him and give him that and allow him to be Lord over my finances, over my career, and everything that he wants for me. And I emphasize that because I think I did so much for what I wanted and what my dreams and what I want to go this direction. But God's plans for me are so much greater. And so I was like, okay, Lord, well, what do you want me to do? And this is not a good time to be in politics, nothing right now. So let's check that box. So I was like, Lord, what do you want me to do? We need a breakthrough. I need a breakthrough. I'm here. I'm feeling like I'm not worth anything. Like, that's an open door because I'm still like certain things I'm like I haven't repented for. I'm still allowing that to have my heart. And so the enemy is allowed to, lie to me and say, oh, well, you're not worth anything. You just stay home. You're never going to be like going through it. And then I had to say, no, shut up. I know, so going to church and praying and reading and what the Lord says about me. And so he's like, do what you always done. Do what you're good at. Why are you going against the grain? You always are serving. You love community. You love people. You love women. You're serving children. You're always getting hired for babysitting jobs. You're always like, you're really good at this. I put this gift in you, so pursue that. And the thing that you're going to do differently is you're going to center me. And so most of the time I spent so much time pursuing jobs, building businesses, doing things, but centering my idea and what I thought. And the Lord said, I want you to do it because you're great at it. You can build it, but center me and watch it multiply. And so I started a business. I started a business that is exactly what I'm gifted at: childcare, helping women, and helping them to manage their homes and whatever else that the Lord has given me. But those are the big overarching things. And that is my full time now. And I haven't even fully launched this business yet. And I've had at least 6 clients. And I'm talking like 4 hours of work that I'm being paid for. I went from having no money to now having money that I'm like, okay, Lord, help me manage this. 10%, go with you had 20, take it. Like, I do not want to go back to where I was. And I'm telling you, like, when I was working, I'd be coming home late. I could just see the effect that it had, not only on my health, but the health of my marriage. I couldn't really give that much time to what was really important. And so on this channel, I want to talk about these things: womanhood, marriage, stewarding your time, managing your home, managing yourself, maintaining a healthy and consistent relationship with God. I'm navigating these things. I haven't arrived. As you can tell through this story, I'm not perfect. And I'm not asking you to be. I just want to be able to do this together. So on this channel, I'm inviting you to reflect, take time to think about what I'm saying and how it may apply to you. If nothing fits, that's okay. Like, take what does and apply it. But I really just want to use this as a mirror, as you could say, like a way for us to look at who we're becoming, where we're going, and where God, wants us to be and how he wants us to be as he sees us. If this resonates with you, if you are looking for that type of content, this is where you are in this season of your life, I would love for you to join me. Please subscribe. Please spend time here, comment. I would love to interact with you. I try to be engaging, so I would love to interact with you and just have a great time becoming. See you in the next video.